Good morning and welcome. We are so excited about the fact that you're here with us today. Actually, we are beyond excited. And TJ just informed me that we are actually setting up more seats in the back. So the people that are standing to my left, which is what, stage left maybe? Yeah. You can go to the back and find a seat. TJ, see, he's over there setting up seats, and it's TJ's birthday. Could anybody say happy birthday, TJ? Happy birthday, TJ! It's TJ's birthday, and you're over there setting up seats. So please feel free to go to the rear and take a seat. Lakeisha Harris was just saying that she's so excited about so many people coming today. So we'll go ahead, and as you take your seat, we'll get started, if that's okay. My name is Deputy Mayor Brenda Haywood, and I hail from the office of Mayor John Cooper. Now let me just briefly, all night long, I was trying to ask the Lord to just please help me to keep this to under a minute. And so I'm depending on him for my help, Dr. Wright. So I served on the Metro Council from 2015 to 2019. Here I am on the Metro Council, not really knowing a whole lot about politics. Consider myself a public servant, but not a politician. So there are 40 of us. Most cities don't have 40, am I right about it? But anyway, as a retired teacher and an ordained minister, I found myself in a place that I was somewhat unfamiliar with. Am I a public servant? Yes. So I would look about the 40-member councilmen, and I would always notice how people voted or what they were passionate about. Now, I was real clear as a retired teacher. I was compassionate and passionate about young people. Well, that led my attention to John Cooper. He was always one that embraced people holistically, and how could we advance the agenda of young people? He was always so passionate about that, and he demonstrated that, and I was drawn to his affinity and the impact he wanted to make on young people. This was from 15 to 19. So of the council members, again, I think it's important that he was always the person that we will find him to be today. So today, it has come full circle, and that's exciting to me. And I want to share one more little thing about our mayor. The first day in office, which was October the 1st of 19, he and I were in his conference room, and he says, well, Deputy Mayor, what do you want to focus on? I knew he already knew. I said, I want to focus on young people. I said, right now, there's more money. I think my time is up, but anyway, y'all, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I asked, they said just go ahead and at the end ask, to be forgiven. But anyway, I said, Mayor, I want to focus on young people. I said, because right now there's more money allocated for prisons, the pipeline to prison, than there is money allocated for education. So childhood literacy, if you look at the third graders and how they are failing and they're not reading proficiently as third graders, and most of them are brown and black. And I told the mayor, he said that's where we will concentrate. And we will make sure that we do what's best for our young people. And we won't deal with them equally, we will deal with them from a landscape of equity. And that's what he's done. And I am so proud to be affiliated with Mayor John Cooper. Then I'm reminded, one more thing I want you to know. One of my little heroes that I've always looked to for inspiration is Nelson Mandela. And at one of the addresses that he gave, he said, education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. And I think that belief is shared by our mayor And he uttered these words at a convention of a group called the Mindset Network. And they embrace young people from an educational perspective and a health perspective. And that's what our mayor is doing. So I just needed to say that about this launch because I so strongly believe in him. So thank you for indulging me for that moment. For those minutes maybe, I don't know. But anyway, beyond that, I'd like to introduce a young man that stands very tall and very impactful and very impressive. And I'd like to introduce him to some and present him to others, and his name is Mark Dunkley. I'm just so proud. Mark, if you would just come up as I talk about you. And after spending, and help me out, 8 years in the athletic arena away from Nashville, am I right about it? He returned to Nashville to join the team here at the Oasis Center. For the last 10 years, he has headed up the development team and special projects. And boy, has he made a difference. You call that name anywhere and people get real excited. And it's not about your height. It's about your impact as it relates to this community. Again, my name is Deputy Mayor Brenda Haywood. I'm I deal with community engagement. If you want to get in touch with me, brenda.haywood@nashville.gov. I would be more than happy and honored and pleased to indulge you. May God continue to bless each one of you real good. And at this time, Mark, if you would come and take the mic. Thank you. Let's give Mark a hand.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Well, on behalf of STARS, Oasis, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Boys and Girls Club, welcome to the Youth Opportunity Center. This building is kind of a physical embodiment of the notion that we can't do it alone. And I think we're going to hear a little bit more about that later today. You know, the issues facing young people are very complex, and there's so many of us in this room that work on those issues, and it's exciting to see everybody here today to focus on that. Since Mayor Purcell's administration, the Oasis Center has had the privilege of running the Mayor's Youth Council. And that's an opportunity for youth all throughout the city to have their voice heard on issues that are relevant to them. Programs like the Mayor's Youth Council are so important because history's shown us what happens when a group of adults get together and try to figure out solutions to complex challenges facing youth. Generally doesn't work too well. But when we look at young people as true partners, when we make the time to listen, to talk with each other and come up with solutions together, we really can and have done some special things. So I'm excited about hearing what the mayor's plan is today. I know everyone is. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Mayor Cooper up to talk about his agenda.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank Brenda and Mark for having us, and thank Brenda. I never quite know what she is going to say, but I can say something about her. She was the black girl in 1963 that integrated Stratford High School. And I think it's a great city where in her lifetime and her career, here she is as deputy mayor, leading us in good works, right? And that's Brenda's job, is the Department of Good Works. So thank her very much. And then we have Councilman Tom Druffel here, who's very important to our future involving our youth. Dr. Battle can't be here, but Dr. Springer is here, grateful. Our Chief of Student Support Services, Katie Kaur of our Public Education Foundation, Stephanie Coleman from the Chamber, Aaron O'Hara, our school board, fundamental to the progress that we're going to be making as a city, Dr. Nation from Vanderbilt and Peabody, who's been so helpful, and the great Judge Callaway. Thank you. And now I want a special shout out to everybody who is here. You raise your hand. If you're part of the village is just an incredibly important thing going on in Nashville, Tennessee right now. And I want to thank Ron Johnson and our village members. I think we're up to 190 village members, providing a platform for really making progress in a critical area that affects too many of our young people. Now, thank you for joining us here as we're discussing our city's most important asset, our youth. And it's fitting that we're here at the Oasis Center to discuss this issue because I want to thank Mark Dunkerley and the entire team for having us, but really for their outstanding work in shaping the future of Nashville one young person at a time. And the Oasis Center programs reach nearly 4,000 Nashville youth per year. That is a lot. Through a variety of services, emergency shelter, counseling, career readiness, college preparation, and so much more. And our youth develop practical skills here at Oasis, like learning how to use our public transportation system, WeGo, how to repair and safely ride a bike, and one that I'm particularly proud of, which is empowering students to be leaders in their community through the Mayor's Youth Council. The Mayor's Youth Council voice and follow-through makes me completely optimistic about Nashville's next generation. And demonstrating their leadership, the Youth Council responded swiftly and nimbly during the pandemic. They created a youth summit and rolled out initiatives, including COVID-19 related public service announcements and a student job fair and food distribution. And Dr. Wright, I know I'm speaking for the health department when I say we are very grateful. Now, when our community creates a path to success, our kids have shown that they will take that path and make it their own. But it's our job to create the path. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. And I want to share an agenda for Nashville's youth, my agenda for Nashville's youth, I hope our agenda for Nashville's youth. Because they are our city's most important asset. There's no greater priority than that every child in Nashville has the tools that they need to be successful. But let me go a step further, and let's set an ambitious goal for ourselves. Now, together, I want us to dedicate ourselves to making Nashville, Tennessee, the best place in the South and in the country to grow up in. That's our big goal. But here are a few ways that we can start working towards that goal. First, to continue prioritizing investment in our public school system, without which really there is not going to be the progress that we need. Second, youth workforce development to help kids think about their career opportunities, to connect opportunity to our kids. Nashville has a lot of opportunity, but we have to connect it with our kids. Next, out-of-school programs to help stay engaged outside of the classroom. Maybe the first priority is to fix and improve what's going on inside the classroom. Without that, it's hard to go forward, but outside of the classroom is very important too. And finally, creating, implementing, and coordinating youth policy across public and private sectors, and that means aligning resources and services across Metro and nonprofits that do so much of the work to address gaps and remove barriers. Now, I'm going to discuss each of these important areas, but before I do, I want to make clear today as a starting point. And the folks in this room, everyone in this room is doing magnificent work every single day for our young people. As a community, we are fortunate to have so many engaged and passionate nonprofit groups and advocates for our kids' successes. And I'm excited to share our vision, this vision, our vision, and the work our office is doing, but it's going to take all of us working together, combining our passion and resources, your passion, which you have so much of, and resources, if we're going to really deliver for Nashville's young people. Now, I want to hear your feedback and incorporate ideas and expand this agenda in the coming weeks and months. So this is a starting point. But let's talk about these 4 priorities for a moment. First, our public schools. Now, I am extremely proud of the progress happening at MMPS. Our schools are our city's engine of opportunity, and they're the physical foundation of our neighborhoods. A strong commitment to education is at the heart of any great city, but it takes consistent investment in our public schools to make that commitment mean something. Consistent investment. Now, my first job when I became mayor was to fix our finances so we could implement that vision. And for our schools director, Dr. Adrian Battle, and I share that vision for our schools, a vision of high-performing and wraparound support for our young people. Now, implementing that vision has meant investment. I'm grateful to the council. I'm grateful to Councilman Druffel for making that possible. So many investments, an investment in laptops and internet for every student to bridge the digital divide, the largest ever new investment in our schools to make Nashville's teachers the best paid in Tennessee. And this year we broke our own record with over $100 million of new funding for MMPS. Paid family leave for all MMPS employees for the first time ever, bringing a new level of dignity and respect to the most important workforce in our community. Significant pay increases for bus drivers, nutrition services personnel, and other support staff. Pay raises to make it possible for district employees to afford rising costs and to help fill vacancies and improve the experience of Nashville's parents and students. And then also there's the largest capital investment ever in our school facilities across the county, $397 million, including air quality improvements at 75 schools last year, 75 schools. We are upgrading classrooms across the district from a new middle school in Cane Ridge, a new elementary school in Goodlettsville, and then there is the new high school, the new Lawson High School in Bellevue, which is going to be incredible. You can see it from the interstate, and when you tour it in person, that's just going to be incredible for our kids to have such a facility. Advocacy centers in every elementary school, restorative practice programs in middle and high schools to de-escalate conflicts, mental health counseling, more social workers, and expanded a Community Achieves program to provide wraparound services to students and their families. And these investments are paying off through outcomes that show our students have quickly bounced back from the challenges of the pandemic and now have a solid foundation to improve beyond where we were before COVID. And earlier this month, MMPS achieved a level 5 value-added growth score from the Tennessee Value-Added Assessment System, TVAS. That's the highest possible rating for districts. MMPS has increased the number of reward schools to 48 and has been named an advancing school district by the state, and we're so proud of Dr. Battle and her team who've overseen a 25% reduction in the number of priority schools, reflecting improvements in student achievement. Memphis, that number doubled. Ours decreased by 25%. So I think we can feel just great that we are building a strong culture of educational excellence that must remain, however, deeply embedded in our policy choices and our budget priorities. It is important. And we will continue to work with MMPS and with the business, nonprofit, and community groups to improve outcomes for Nashville children. Now, to lead this effort, I've recently announced the addition of Dr. Robert Wallace, Jr. as my office's Senior Education Advisor. He comes to us as a graduate of Antioch High School and a doctorate in education. And as a Nashville native, Robert has a background in education and does understand the complexities involved in building student-focused partnerships. He was the Chief Operating Officer of Pencil. And as a school administrator and as a middle school teacher, I want to thank Robert for taking on this additional role as we work to improve outcomes for Nashville students. Now, the next priority is youth workforce development. Now, while our schools open doors for life beyond graduation, we can prepare our youth for success by encouraging them to be career-minded at an earlier age and creating early opportunities in professional work settings. I'm particularly looking at Councilman Druffel as we talk about this important priority. Nashville's economic growth brings with it opportunity for Nashville's next generation to attain careers in healthcare, logistics, hospitality, manufacturing, technology, and more. This is a city of opportunity. And in turn, our young people represent the human capital that can power these industries to greater heights and provide great careers for each of them. Nashville's employers can get a great return on their investment in youth career exploration, including summer internships. Career exploration is an additional strategy in reducing youth violence as well. Now, to coordinate citywide access to youth employment opportunities, I asked my office to work with Councilmember Druffel and other stakeholders, including the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce and the Nashville After Zone Alliance, as huge partners with us in this effort. And the result is the Youth Career Exploration Task Force, which is going to develop a strategy and a business plan for expanding youth career exploration and employment opportunities, expanding teen work programs, and developing teen internships were strategies outlined all the way back in the 2010 Child and Youth Master Plan. Let's make it happen. Now, we have an ambitious goal of reaching 50% of Nashville's youth by 2032, and we will prioritize youth engaged either through MMPS or the juvenile court system. Now, key to leading this initiative will be Lakeisha Harris, and Lakeisha is going to serve as our Director of Youth, Workforce, Economic Opportunity, and Community Development in the Mayor's Office. Lakeisha has worked in this space for the past decade, including helping to lead our magnet school program at MMPS and beginning her career as a college and career counselor right here at Oasis Center. Now, out-of-school programs become so important, and that's has to be a major focus of success for us going forward. And I'm grateful to Lakeisha. She is no stranger to our office. She has been our Fuse Fellow, Executive Fellow, and has worked in partnership already with MMPS, with Nashville After Zone Alliance, and the United Way as a resource for Nashville parents. And Nashville has many nonprofit partners and programs to get youth involved in productive activities outside of the classroom. Research consistently shows that access to out-of-school programming improves attendance, lowers dropout rates, closes the performance gap in underserved communities, and contributes to a host of other benefits for our kids. And through partnership with Fuse, we are creating a database, an out-of-school locator. An out-of-school locator, it's a little bit cumbersome, the term, but it's doing what it says. For families across our city, parents will be able to use this tool online to find programs and help for their kids. How do we match need with services? How do we get our kids and our parents able to access the help that many of you in this room are able to provide? Now, it takes a village to raise a child. It may take a village or villages to keep us also safe. But with our new out-of-school locator, we're kind of bringing the village to your phone and to your family. Now, the Mayor's Office, MMPS, NASA, and the United Way of Greater Nashville's websites will host this out-of-school locator. And as of today, 60 organizations will be represented within the tool. Now, a key finding from that way back in 2010 Child and Youth Master Plan was that many parents and youth are unaware of the quality programs that are being offered in their area. This is using technology to address that gap and to fulfill a long-held goal of our community that has been under-addressed. We're grateful to Lakeisha, we're grateful to the partnerships that are making this possible, and let's really use that to serve our children. Now, as a way of building capacity and continuing collaboration with out-of-school providers, we're convening partners with MMPS Extended Learning Leadership. And that means a children's cabinet, a youth and children's cabinet. Every child in Nashville deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. But we know that not every child in our community has that and is afforded this basic foundation. We know that children who lack access to quality childcare or pre-K are much less likely to be ready for kindergarten. And starting behind makes it harder for those children to achieve educational and development benchmarks. Ensuring that every child has access to opportunities in Nashville will require us to take a hard look at the programs and services available to children and families. It will require working together to ensure that the right supports are reaching every child in every neighborhood. And that's why today I'm announcing the formation of a Children's Advisory Cabinet. And this new initiative will streamline and align resources and services across 55 metro departments, as well as Nashville's many nonprofit organizations. We will address gaps and remove barriers so that all of Nashville's children can thrive. The Children's Advisory Cabinet follows a national model. Best practices to zero in on services that drive specific improvements in a child's life. The Cabinet will work to accomplish multiple goals for the city. And let's go over some of those goals. Mobilizing and aligning resources for youth services, breaking down cross-agency silos, and strengthening partnerships to meet the needs of vulnerable children and families. Fostering collaboration across both metro agencies and non-governmental stakeholder groups, informing youth policies and programs using data coordinated from multiple agencies, setting protocols for access to information, resolving policy conflicts, engaging in joint training and program development, and coordinating service delivery, and facilitating a holistic approach to serving children by aligning agency policies that affect children's health, safety, and well-being. Now, of course, at the heart of this work will be prioritizing equity and inclusion. Children across Nashville require access to high-speed internet, digital skills training, and culturally relevant social supports to help them effectively use technology. Thanks to our investment in laptops and Wi-Fi for every MMPS student, our kids will be better prepared than ever to take advantage of Nashville's growing economy. That investment addressed the digital divide. And addressing the digital divide was another key finding in the Child and Youth Master Plan. Now, it took a decade, but we have gotten it done. Because this allows us to build on a great foundation of digital inclusion work here at Metro, dating back to the launch of Anytime Access for All with MMPS and the Digital Inclusion Fund that the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee has provided. But Metro has never had one central role to pull organizations together and to drive the work forward. And that changes today. I'm excited to announce Nashville's first ever Digital Inclusion Officer, Pearl Umunfu. And Pearl will serve as a force multiplier for Metro's work in this area, bringing the digital divide to foster broad prosperity across our city. Now, digital inclusion is a microcosm of our broader vision, bridging gaps, fostering opportunities, so we can be the best city in the South to grow up in. We can be the best city in the country to grow up in. We have the most opportunity. Now let's make that opportunity work for all of our people. Regardless of what neighborhood a child is born in, our resources that their parents have. Because our city, as a village, we have the resources that it takes to build a better future for our kids. We are making the investments that will make this work, but what we do next is critical. Now, I'm inviting every person here today and in our larger nonprofit community to join me in October for a roundtable working session that will help refine this agenda and help chart a course for implementation. Not to have a plan that so much was unaddressed for years, but to go forward with achievement. Now, Eric Williams of the Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee has generously offered to host this discussion, be part of it. And you'll be hearing more details soon. Our young people are our greatest asset, and Metro is now better positioned than ever to work with all of our community stakeholders to execute a comprehensive education and youth empowerment plan so that today's children become Nashville's leaders of tomorrow. We have great achievements in the formal classroom education space in Nashville, unprecedented in its spending, unprecedented what's been able to, with the help of the council, get done in the last few years. Now we have a platform for beginning to go beyond the classroom and to reach our youth and connect them with the opportunity that this great city has to offer. Thank you all for being here. And to our future conversations together, again, my request for all of us is to be back and to start work on the next phase of Nashville's most exciting chapter. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Here you are.
Job.
Super good.
Could we give our mayor another arousing hand of applause, please? I don't know about you, but just being in a city that has focused so much on our youth because they are our most valuable, just when we think about assets, they are our most valuable asset. And I know Obama and several other people said a nation will be defined and measured and given a grade based on the condition of their young people. So we're looking to have whatever's beyond an A+ when I was in school. But anyway, Mayor Cooper, we just thank you. You've lived up to your promise to me. And each year when the students would come into my classroom, I would study the 4 stages of a butterfly. And we talked about how in life, there's always going to be adversity. But then those that really, really overcome and measure up are the ones that persevere. And as I think about perseverance, and we went into the office and we're about to adjourn, when we went into the office in October, this was October of 19, and we had all of those things on the docket. And then when 2020 rolled in, does anybody raise your hand if you remember 2020? Then he was faced with all the things that were added to our agenda in 2020. And he persevered, and people are still talking about how he was our shepherd through COVID and through the tornado and through the flood. And I watched him. I said, oh, Lord, what's he going to do now? And he stepped up to the plate, and I would talk to my friends. Thank you for shaking your head in the affirmative. And I told my friends, I said, I knew on the council I had this little hashtag for him, and he didn't know it, but I would say, hashtag Mayor John Cooper is our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. And that was my hashtag for him then, and that's my hashtag as I joined him in the mayor's office. But at this time, I want to thank everybody that had a hand in this event today. I want to thank all of our guests. You are a beautiful, attentive audience, and for that, I say thank you. I want to say that get involved with us. Get involved. Please get involved. We welcome you. I think he only wanted me to be the deputy mayor because I love people and I'm just kind of welcoming. I want you to feel at home in the mayor's office. Come on in. We have the open, when I was a teacher, I had the open door policy. We have the open door policy there. So we want to invite you over. We want you to email us. We want you to call us. We are there for you. And we want you to know that a dream only comes to fruition when everybody is on a team. So teamwork makes the what? Dream work. One more time, teamwork makes the dream work. That's right, I played basketball at Stratford, so I know about that. kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you for coming. We are adjourning now. And again, may God continue to bless you real, real good. Thank you.